Fall for Me TV. This fall on Me TV, Remington Steele.
It's definitely an emergency.
Oh yeah, also Emergency.
Please stay with me.
And more familiar faces.
You act like I've never been on television before.
Me TV continues to deliver the shows you remember.
I remember.
And you may discover shows you've never seen before.
Is that a threat?
Fall for Me TV. For a complete schedule, go to MeTVNetwork.com.
The great detective Remington Steele? He doesn't exist. I invented him.
The woman behind the man, Miss Laura Holt.
Until the day he walked in, with his blue eyes and mysterious past.
Remington Steele is an elaborate ruse. He does not exist.
We never mix business with pleasure. Well, almost never.
I think it's time they found me.
Remington Steele. Weeknights at 8, 7 Central on Me TV.
Hi, I'm John Malos, and welcome to Connect with Me here live on the showroom floor at Ventura TV. Today, it's Ask the Expert Day. That's right. We are going to be talking about the latest in technology from Apple. Hey, maybe we'll even talk about PCs. We'll have a special guest in the studio. Our telephone number is 265-4331. We're back in a minute. Happy to have you along here. We're live in the studio at Ventura TV once again after having 3 days of consecutive shows with interviews from stars of yesteryear. I hope you enjoyed those interviews on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday with Tina Cole, Kathy Garber, and Tony Dow. And next week we'll have more for you on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. I hope you had a wonderful Christmas Day, Christmas Eve as well, and hope you have a wonderful new year as 2013 approaches. Today it's Ask the Expert Day. We're talking technology. And the thing is, when you talk technology, you talk control. How many of you actually have control of your lives? Are you in control of your husband, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, who knows what? Are you in total control of your life? You may think that you have control. Let's go to the videotape and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about when I am talking about control. It is so very important in this day and age of the ever-changing world of technology. It seems like we have lost control. We have become slaves to technology, to our iPhones, our iPads, our Macs, our PCs, the internet, the Facebook, my gosh, Twitter. Social media and all of those devices have taken control of many of our lives. Oh, there are still a few holdouts. I know a few myself, friends of mine, but sooner or later, one realizes you can't live without it, or can you? You know, just in the last year alone, Apple has exploded with the latest in technology. CEO Tim Cook, that man who took over the company with the passing of Steve Jobs more than a year ago, is primarily, of course, responsible for all of the latest in technology. Apple stock has been up as much as 45%, 3 new iPads, 2 new iPhones, 3 new Macs, all within the last year or so since Cook took over. It seems like Apple users, they work themselves up into a frenzy each and every time a new product comes out. Live in our studio now is Doug Cox, the president of the Fresno Mac User Group. He is here to answer your questions about Apple products, about PC products, about Steve Jobs. Don't shake your head. You're going to talk about PCs. Yes, you will. Anyway, your phone number to call in is 265-4331 as usual. He actually met Steve Jobs at one time. We'll talk about that and all of the latest toys that we think we can't live without. Or can we? Do you remember a time when we used to get along just fine with no cell phone, no iMac, no iPad? I mean, goodness gracious sakes alive. We're back with your phone calls, and we're back with Doug Cox in just a moment. Stay tuned.
Ventura TV Appliance Center. We're the save energy, save time, save money place.
The Energy Star qualified #1 rated high-efficiency Cabrio from Whirlpool Place. You heard right. Right now, save big on select Whirlpool Cabrio laundry pairs and pay no interest when paid in full within 6 months. At the hometown low price, think outside the big box place. Since 1951, Ventura TV Appliance Center. We're working hard to be your place.
And we are back here talking about the evolution of technology. It is an amazing thing to watch, especially just within the last 10 years. You know, I remember back in 1995, and many of you do, when Windows 95 came out. Do you remember the crush? Well, you know what? All that's long gone. It's forgotten. It's ancient history. It's like the Stone Age now, especially in the last few years. Each and every time Apple opens a new store, they come out with a new product. It's like the world is coming to an end. We have to rush in there and get it. Doug Cox, he is the president of the Fresno Mac User Group. Welcome, Doug. Good to see you.
How you doing, sir?
You brought all the toys. I brought a few toys myself.
I brought a few toys.
Yeah, I got my daughter's iPad here, which
that's a glow-in-the-dark
yeah,
iPad.
Well,
can you
that's
find
her
that
color.
Can you find that in the dark room?
That's a girl's color. Come on.
It's kind of bright.
Let me put that under there. And I got my son's MacBook. Of course, they don't make these anymore. Do you realize that? Whoops. That's okay. We'll get that later. Anyway, they don't make that anymore.
The apple's upside down.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
It took Apple about 10 years to figure out how to make the apple right side up.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Don't worry about the papers. We'll get them later. It's not important. Anyway, we're talking computers today, and it's a situation where people think they can't live without this technology, but they actually can. Isn't that right?
Can they?
Can they?
Can they? If you're in a cave. There's a word for people who aren't computer savvy. They're curmudgeons.
All right. What's the purpose of the Fresno Mac Users Club?
The purpose is a social organization as well as an educational organization. Okay. We are a nonprofit. Actually, there's a slide that you have which gives our mission statement, which I think really does a good job of clearly stating our goals and objectives.
All right. Well, I don't know if we have it or not, but you can just talk about it right now before it comes up. Just it's up on the screen right there.
There it is. Our mission statement.
Right.
FMUG strives to increase proficiency in using Apple computers and related technology. Yeah. It's about empowering people, teaching people, doing it honestly. There's been some time in the past where people thought Mac clubs were all about stealing software, and that's why I wanted to be clear on this. I'll continue reading. FMUG will provide enthusiastic support, education, and training for all levels of users and have fun in the process.
Right.
FMUG is committed to maintaining the highest level of integrity and honesty.
All right. How long has the Mac Club been in use?
It's actually, the Mac Club's been around since before there were Macs. It was originally an Apple Club.
Okay.
So it's been over 20 years. Mac came out in 1984, and I think the club started in 82.
How many people in the group?
We now have about 100 members.
Okay. And you meet how often?
We meet the first Tuesday of the month, except January 1st.
Okay.
We're going to meet January 8th.
All right. You're not going to meet next week, but the following week. Okay. You know, to your left, right here on the desk.
It's a classic.
It's a classic. Explain what this is. I mean, I remember seeing many of these around. This
is a Mac
actually,
classic. This is actually a little.
Turn that around to the camera so they can see it. Yeah, if you can.
This is not the first Mac.
Turn it some more.
Yeah, this is not the first Mac. This Mac is.
There you go.
From like 90, I think.
Okay.
It's very similar to my first Mac. This one's actually color. This one's George. This one's high tech.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So the first ones that came out, they were black and white.
Yeah, black and white. They were, and they first Macs came out in 1984, January 1984. I actually saw my first Mac in December of 1984. My brother came to visit, and my brother was a Mac guy at the very beginning, and he brought one for me to play with in December 1984, like I said, and it was miraculous. Mm-hmm. I mean, 15 seconds I was a computer user. Mm-hmm. You know, click, double click, drag.
And so what happened to Apple from that computer, that small computer that originally was black and white, and then they went to color, and there it is right there. Mm-hmm. This transformation, when did it start happening? What year?
I think the biggest thing that happened is the internet. And Apple did a great job when Jobs came back in 1989 of creating the iMac, which was an easy way to get on the internet. In fact, they did a commercial with a boy and his dog, which was just wonderful. And that boy and that dog got that iMac on the internet in like 5 minutes, and they compared that to a guy who was a Harvard graduate trying to get a PC online, which took him an hour.
Okay, stay on this shot here. Now, that's a front loader for what, a disc?
That's for a floppy disk, a 3.5-inch floppy disk.
All right, those.
And Apple was the first one to do that.
They were the first ones.
Yes, they were. There were 5.5-inch discs before that. 5.25.
Yeah, and this is a color monitor, as we said. And
yep.
How do you turn this on? What are those buttons in the front there?
Probably.
Don't turn that around.
And
yeah.
power.
Yeah. Okay.
And brightness and volume. Excuse me.
Okay, right there in the front. Yeah.
And Apple was one of the first computers to actually use audio.
Okay.
And one of the reasons Macs have always been a good deal, even though they're normally more expensive, is they've always been more complete than PCs.
In what way?
They were first ones to do color, the first ones to do audio, the first ones to do stereo, the first ones to enable printing to a laser printer.
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard of David Pogue?
Yes. Okay.
David Pogue is like the guru of technology nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
He got his start on Broadway as a producer, composer, and arranger. Then he bought the first Mac on Broadway, and then he taught everybody else how to use that to produce the scores for musicals.
Yeah.
For instance.
So how is it that PCs still kind of rule in the general workplace, let's say? Throughout corporate America, PCs are still kind of the go-to computer, even though Mac has taken over a certain percentage of the market.
Probably the price, and that is a lot of false economy. I think.
So you're saying that PCs are cheaper,
yes,
than say buying
yes.
an Apple product.
Yes, but it's a false economy because it costs a lot more to keep a PC running than it does a Mac.
In what way?
Because there are no viruses for Mac to this day.
Right.
So just keeping a PC away from viruses is very costly. And you need an IT department to run a PC office, where you can get away with it. You don't need one for a Mac.
Right. Stock has been up 45% in the last year since Cook took over.
Yes.
They've had 3 iPads have come out, 2 iPhones, 3 Macs. A movie is coming out next year on Steve Jobs.
Actually, 2.
Actually, 2 movies coming out. Okay, so Apple is on the rise, but they've had their problems too. They've had lawsuits back and forth with Samsung. Okay, so it's not like the company is perfect.
Oh no. And it's a target for lawsuits. It really is. It's a big company. It's a big pocket, as they say.
Right. You know. Okay. When Apple came out and they had the Siri, the woman on the iPhone. Okay, that kind of messed up. All right, they had the Maps trying to compete with Google Maps. All right.
A few people have lost their head over that deal.
Yeah, executives got fired over that.
Yes.
In fact, Tim Cook said in an interview recently that we screwed up, and they paid the price, the top executives. What happened, in your opinion? Why did they screw up?
I don't know. I wasn't there. That's not a question I can answer.
Okay.
I'm sure they did their best, but their best wasn't good enough, and Apple is cruel. You've got to be great. You've got to be really great to work there.
Right. He wants to win.
Yeah.
The race to the top in terms of technology.
They want perfection, and they strive for it.
All right, we're talking with Doug Cox. He is the president of the Fresno Mac User Group. Your telephone calls are important, 265-4331. That is the number we always use here at Connect With Me. We're back with more of our interview in just a moment.
I'm Lou Grant. Mary asked me to do a promo for Me TV.
You want to see me, Lou?
Not now, Ted. Watch me on...
Danish donut?
I said not now, Ted. Watch me on Me TV.
You don't like me? I'll fire you.
Watch Mary Tyler Moore, and I'll fire you.
Me TV Fresno, now on Comcast Channel 187.
Meow.
Are you a Mac user? Are you a PC user? What are you? Are you keeping up with the latest in technology? Do you have an iPhone? Do you have a Samsung? Do you have a PC? Do you have an Apple product? Do you have a an iPad? What do you use at home? Anyway, the big debate rages on, PC or Apple. Doug Cox is here, the president of the Fresno Mac User Group, and I think we're always going to have this disagreement, this argument.
There's no disagreement.
Versus the Mac.
I don't have any disagreement.
Well, not you, but other people. You're going to have it with other people. All right, there are other people that don't like the Apple products. But anyway, you are the president of the Fresno Mac User Group. Now, you brought a piece of video with you to show a presentation of what? Okay,
what our club meets the first Tuesday of every month, except January. Our club, our first hour is normally for beginners, like a Mac 101. I normally do a What's New presentation, and I brought a short one as an example here. We'll see here in a second. And then our second 2 hours, we normally do more advanced stuff, like show off, the newest thing from Photoshop or.
Well, let's go to the presentation.
Okay.
I want to talk about the presentation. Actually, I want you to talk over it.
Okay.
So we've been talking about it here for about 30 seconds, and I expect it to be coming up any moment now. Anyway.
Your fingers?
Yeah. Let's go right now. Okay. What are we looking at?
Okay. This is a What's New presentation. These are various things that I found on the internet that are fun to share. For instance, the president twitters on a Mac. This is Tim Cook in the new store at Grand Central Station in New York.
Right, talking to Brian Williams.
Ashton Kutcher's jobs, amazing. I love Grumpy Cat. Okay, I love cats in general, so I got to do that every month. This was a shot on Time Magazine's cover, taken with an iPhone 5. I thought that was incredible. This Macs are being assembled in the U.S. starting really soon. They're actually going to do minis also. This is kind of fun of all the phones.
The evolution of the phones. Look at that. Let's go. Can we go back to that, or have we? Okay, we can.
You can actually stop it.
I don't know. Okay. Yeah, I mean.
So these are the major manufacturers: Motorola, Nokia, BlackBerry, and Apple. It's really kind of fun that Apple hasn't changed that much. Of course, they were very late to the game, and they had it mastered from the beginning.
Right. What are we looking at here?
That is actually made out of an old iMac. That's what I want for Christmas. I didn't get it.
Okay, all right.
And watch your mail, because your dog may get your phone. And I think that's it.
Okay, that's it. So as far as Mac is concerned, or Apple products are concerned, they're going to come back to the U.S. and start manufacturing some products. Right now, they're primarily made in China.
Yes, I'm really thrilled.
That's a big bone of contention for a lot of people, that those jobs are going to China.
Right.
And they, I mean, I guess they can make them cheaper there.
Yes, but things are close now. They're actually they're looking at they can compete. They really think they can, and they're going to do that. And don't forget that Apple actually employs over 100,000 people here in the United States, and a lot of those are in retail, but they take care of the retail employees too.
Yeah. Why do you think that Apple is so secretive about some of the products that are coming out, that are about to come out? I heard an iTV is going to be coming out soon. A lot of secrecy about that. A lot of secrecy about everything. Of course, Samsung is their big competitor right now.
Yeah,
and they're going head to head with Samsung, but there is a lot of secrecy. Does it have to be that way in order to be competitive?
Actually, that dates way back to the beginning of technology, when I think it was the Sinclair computer. They announced their new product. I'm not sure of that, but they announced their new computer, and they noticed that nobody bought the old one. So the old one became landfill immediately.
Right.
So they can't. They have to have secrets so that people will continue buying as well, and then buy the new one later. Because Apple does a great job of controlling the inventory, and that's one of the reasons.
Is it too much in technology? Are we ignoring the surroundings around us and paying too much attention to our iPhones and not really paying attention to each other in terms of friendships and relationships and all that stuff? People are more into texting now than they are in talking over the phone, and it has been like that for a long time. Is it too much to absorb? And are people too intimidated by the fast evolution of this technology?
Well, I spend all my time helping people to navigate through technology. That's what I do. That's what I do for a living also. And
it's a full-time job.
It's a full-time job. It's a full-time job just to keep up with this stuff.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying. Is it too much?
Is it too much? It's too much if you make it too much. You know, sometimes I have to tell my clients, it's like, okay, breathe.
Right.
You know,
right.
Calm down. It's just a computer. It's just an iPad. You know, don't let it take over your life. But and enjoy it.
Don't let it take over your life. It has taken over all of our lives to a certain extent. And to a certain extent, many people can't do the jobs that they're doing now without an iPad or without an iPhone.
It's true. Well, and that's where I come in, because I can really help people. And it's really funny. One of the things that my clients really appreciate about me is that I love to pick up the phone, and I encourage them to pick up the phone and call me if they have a question.
And how would they get in touch with you? Do you want to give your phone number?
My number is 277-IMAC.
Okay,
you can probably remember that.
IMAC. Very easy to remember. So what do you help people with? What are some of the main problems that people come to you with?
Simple things like not being able to get on the internet, or not being able to sync their photos to their computer, not being able to print. I actually work 11 to 11 because I take care of a lot of people who come home from work and they continue working and they want to get a document printed. And, you know, they want to get it done for the next day, and they'll call me at 10 o'clock at night and say, help, I can't get this printed. And most of the time I can get it done for them.
You can navigate through the problems over the phone.
Yes. Not always, but most of the time I can.
Most of the time you can. What is it about Apple that you'd like to see them do? Or what is it about Apple that you're unhappy with that you'd like to see an improvement of? In what area? It's only a half-hour show, Doug.
I know. I don't really have any. I'm not a pundit. I don't have any predictions or. I just don't. Next question.
Okay. All right. We got to go to break. Okay. You're
Good.
stumped.
Saved by a break.
I stumped the guest.
Okay.
Anyway, we're back with more of our conversation talking about Apple products and the internet and all the latest toys that have come out on the market. We're back in just a moment.
Is taking care of laundry taking too much of your time? Have you become a missing mom? With a new fast, efficient washer and dryer from Ventura TV Video Appliance, you'll spend more of your day the way you want.
This Amana Super Capacity Washer Dryer Pair is now just $6.99, and this heavy-duty Maytag Super Capacity Washer Dryer Pair is only $8.99.
Don't spend your life on laundry. Upgrade today at Ventura TV Video Appliance and save.
We're back, and we are talking about the Apple products, and we're talking with Doug Cox, the president of the Mac User Group here in Fresno. It's been around for the better part of 20 years. They meet once a month, the first Tuesday of every month, except they won't be meeting, of course, on January the 1st. But they're there, and they have about 100 members. And, Doug, you help people with their computers. But what do you guys do during the meetings? What do you discuss? What do you talk about? Do people bring their iPhones, their iPads?
Yes.
And what goes on at the meetings specifically?
We meet at the UC California building across from Fresno Mall. We actually have a great internet connection there. If some of the people who live in the country who don't have a great internet connection, if you want to upgrade your computer, it's a great place to bring it down. So our typical meeting is we do a 101 for the first hour from like 6 to 7 o'clock, and we'll do things like backing up your computer, cleaning up your computer, doing maintenance, file systems, stuff like that. Real basic stuff. Email, stuff like that. Then we'll usually do a What's New presentation. We usually we dedicate some time for questions and answers because people always have questions. And it's really great having 50, 60 people in the room, because even if you don't want to ask that question, somebody may ask the question that you need to hear.
What if somebody shows up and they say, okay, the iPhone 5, all right, they sold millions and millions of those just in the first couple of days alone when it came out. But the old cords that they used for the iPhones didn't fit for the new iPhone 5. You had to buy a new cord.
No, your phone came with one. The phone comes with a new one.
Right. But the old ones didn't fit. But if
Right.
Okay.
So you might have to buy another one for the car.
Right, another one
which
for
I
the
did.
car. Okay.
It's not the end of the world.
Okay, that's not the end of the world.
And the main reason they did that is because the new iPhone is so thin that the old connector really wouldn't work.
It's very thin. All the new Apple products are very thin.
And have you noticed that the names of the new cables are Thunderbolt and Lightning?
Yes, yeah, I noticed that. So what's your take on this competition between Samsung and Apple? What's your take on it?
It's really a fight over patents, and it's very technical and very complicated, and you can see how long it's taken to even
And they've
get
sued
through
each
the
other
courts.
back and forth. They've gone to
Yes.
court many times.
Yes.
There's no doubt about it, of course.
I think Samsung has lost out a lot of money not being a partner with Apple, though. I think Samsung might have made a mistake there, because because Samsung was a major provider of screens for Apple computers, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
They've lost that job. We've lost a lot of other contracts too for RAM.
I know you're biased, but
Yeah,
why
okay.
is it that PCs, in your opinion, do not live up to the standard of say, an Apple product?
I think the number one thing is that Apple does the whole gizmo. Okay?
Explain what that means.
They do the hardware and they do the software. And that's why they work so well.
And you mentioned...
And kind of you have to buy, if you buy into the whole ecosystem, if you buy the iPhone and the iPad and the Apple TV and the Apple networking devices, yeah, you're going to spend a little more money, but you are going to have a great experience.
Right, and you mentioned earlier in the interview about the viruses that the PCs get. Why do PCs get so many viruses?
I kind of explain that like this. In the PC world, there are thousands of Black Knights that are just out to get Microsoft, and that's what they do all day long. Let's beat up the system and let's screw them.
Right.
In the Mac world, it's the polar opposite. It's thousands of White Knights that are pounding the system so they can find weaknesses and protect it. So it's an absolute polar opposite. And there are still no viruses for Mac. And there are 100,000 viruses for PC. They say if you get a
So
PC
it's as
gets on
simple
the
as
net,
that, huh?
yeah,
It's as
PC
simple
gets
as
on the
that.
net and it's like 90 seconds they'll have a virus.
But you can have a Mac for years and not get a virus.
I don't think there are any viruses yet.
Have you ever had a Mac that's had a virus?
No.
You never have.
And I work with hundreds of people.
Right. Now, what do you have here before we go? We've got you've got.
This
your,
is my iPad. One
right.
of my clients bought me this beautiful case.
Okay.
It's all hand-tooled leather.
And you got
I
your
couldn't
MacBook.
afford it myself.
Got your MacBook Pro.
I got my MacBook Pro.
All right.
And actually, I sometimes leave this at home now, and I usually go out hit the road with my iPad now.
All right.
Actually, I did a.
And where's your iPhone?
My
You got
iPhone.
your iPhone?
George has my
Oh,
iPhone.
okay. All right.
I actually did a Mac Mania training cruise last year, and I
All
actually
right.
left my
Let me
PC
ask you-
home.
Let me ask you a question. This is my daughter's iPad.
Yes.
When will this be outdated? I just bought this year.
It's up to you.
It's the latest.
It's up to you. That's what really determines.
We can take this shot here.
It really determines.
Yeah.
It's when it's no longer serves you, is when something's out of date. I mean, some people will have
I mean,
this
this
iPad
is brand new. Is this going to be outdated next year? The iPad 6 is going to come out?
That's entirely up to you. If it's doing what you need it to do,
Okay.
if it's still running, if it still lights up, if it still gets you on the internet, if it still gets your mail, if it still
works,
if Words with Friends still works,
right.
if your Facebook still works, I mean,
It's
it's
fine.
up to you. I mean, if you don't have to get the newest one, but it's up. That's what. It's when the computer or device gets to a point where I want to do this, like I want to make movies, for instance, what would be something that happened in years gone by. I want to do movies, so your old computer didn't have the power to do movies, so you'd have to get a new computer.
We're running out of time. Doug, come back.
Thank you, that was
we'll
easy.
do another show.
Okay.
All right. Doug Cox, the president of the Fresno Mac Users Club, and we're going to be back tomorrow. We're going to be talking about fitness, how to stay in shape for the holidays, not overindulge, and certainly try to keep the weight off as best you can during the holiday season. We'll see you tomorrow. That's our show. Have a good evening.
Here goes.
Some shows force you to laugh. But with Mary Tyler Moore, laughter comes easily. Mary Tyler Moore. More laughs and more.
The more the merrier.
It'll tickle your funny bone.
Would you like to borrow a feather?
Weeknights at 9, 8 Central on MeTV.
That's all, folks.
Do you like me?
Just like me.
Like MeTV Fresno on Facebook. Get the latest news, interact with others, watch videos, become a fan of me. Exclusively brought to you by Ventura TV.